So today I want to talk about Zenmap, and I'm going to talk about why Zenmap is important, and I'm just going to dive in. So basically, if you've done anything with like security research, cybersecurity related stuff, or even just network administration, Nmap is kind of a big deal, right? So, and there's actually, I have a few articles on the blog that you guys can go check out, but the reality is that networking is super important in cybersecurity. I know I've mentioned that before. And Nmap is a tool that we use to essentially map the network. I mean, that's what it stands for. Nmap stands for network mapper, right? And a lot of times we use Nmap from the command line. So, and I've done, some of the videos I've done have been in, my Kali Linux machine that I virtualize. So, it's in command line. You put in the code or the one-liner Nmap, and then the command line arguments, and then the target, and then it gives you a whole printout. You can save it to log files and whatnot. So I want to show you Zenmap because Zenmap is the GUI version of Nmap, basically, and there's a lot of documentation on it. And I encourage you go to the Zenmap or go to the Nmap reference guide that they have online and look at the documentation for the Zenmap GUI users manual. There is a lot of information in there. It's really good. But I wanted to show you Zenmap because it's something you can use on Windows machines because a lot of security researchers work on Windows machines. There's a kind of a cybersecurity competition every year, twice a year actually, called the National Cyber League. So there's usually a spring season and a fall season. It's great. I highly encourage you to do it. I've done it. It's a blast. It's a gamified security, kind of like Capture the Flag, right? But not. You don't need a ton of hacking skills. Like it's there for you to learn how to do it, no matter what your ranking is. And they do webinars like all year, but they do a lot of webinars leading up to the competition. And one of the webinars that they did was on how to use essentially like pen testing security tools on Windows machines instead of in a Linux or a Kali or a Parrot OS environment, which I thought was really neat. And then I started just it got me on this thing where I started doing a bunch of research into the tools that we could use on Windows instead of just creating a whole virtual environment and popping in there. And so Zenmap was one of them. So I want to show you Zenmap today and how you can use it for documentation because it provides some really cool stuff that you can even use to generate for reports to your manager leadership, whoever the fuck you're generating reports for. I don't know. But basically, so this is Zenmap, and you can see here, like I can put in a target like 192.168.1.0. I can even put /24 if I want to scan the whole subnet. And then down here, this is actually where Zenmap populates the commands. Okay. Now the cool thing is that these command one-liners actually are over here on the profile, so you can choose any of these scans. So an intent scan increases the timing to 4. It does verbose so that you see everything that's happening. And then the -A, which basically scans, like it uses the Nmap scripting engine. It scans for, the operating system type, the version of the services running on all the ports, the most common ports. So it's already preset in there for you, which makes it really, really nice. And then you've got like intent scan all TCP ports. So if you choose that, it'll show you how it changes the intent scan and includes all the ports. It just automatically does it for you instead of having to type it out manually. And this is a great tool to be able to learn how to use Nmap in the command line too. So you can read through the user's guide about what an intent scan is, intent scan plus UDP, intent scan all TCP ports, and you can use this tool to actually see what these command line arguments are, so you can actually learn how to use Nmap in the command line interface. And an intent scan is a very loud scan, right? So that's something to consider. If you're doing a pen test or if you're doing any type of security research, an intent scan is a loud scan. So then we've got a ping scan, and that's literally just pinging the machine or even the subnet, to see if it's there, to see what's there. You can do a quick scan. Look at that. You can do a regular scan. Again, that's just a regular old scan. But these are like the pre-added profiles. Okay, that oh man, that's a slow comprehensive scan. I've actually never used that one. But let's say I want to do, instead of an intent scan dash A, I can actually change this manually. So let's say I want to leave the timing regular, and I want to do dash O to find the operating service version, dash SV to find the version of the of the services like SSH or Apache or whatever running on the ports. So I can actually go in here and type it in manually in Zenmap, to be able to, choose whatever profile I want. And then, ooh, look at that. You can actually edit profiles and add profiles, which is really cool. So you can add, a profile. You can make a profile name. You can put a description in here, and then you can choose like this. I could say this is, Red's custom scan, and I put some description in there. Save the changes, and now if I go up here, right there, because it's in alphabetical order, Red's custom scan. Look at that. So I can actually add profiles into Zenmap, which is really cool. And then, you can do tools, you can filter hosts, you can, and here's something we're about to get to. You can open up previous scans. Okay, but that's the basis of Zenmap. Of these different sections up here, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to open up a scan so that I've previously done on a network, so that you can see what that looks like. All right, so this is a scan that I previously did on an entire network. So you can go up here to scan, open scan, and then you can browse your files for a scan that you've previously saved. So that's a cool thing. So I could even take this and save the scan, and I can give it a title, and I can save it and then be able to come back to it later. I'm just going to open this up a little bit. So right here we've got these different sections. Okay, so obviously we've got the target section up here that allows us to target a very specific thing, and then we've got the host section. So the host section is, there we go. The host section is exactly like it says. It shows the hosts. Okay. And we can look here. We can even click on services. So in the scan, these are all the services that I found in the scan. And I can look up and I can say, all right, of all these services, let's see what I found. VMware auth. Oh, I found that service on these two machines, right? Or that machine, but on these two different ports. Or MySQL. Look at that. I found MySQL, that version, running on that specific machine and that specific port. So I can look at this based on services. Look at all those machines. Or I can look at this based on hosts. Okay. So, and great thing about Zenmap, is that it actually adds these, different icons. I think the Penguins are a Linux machine. I'm pretty sure the Penguins are a Linux machine. Yep, look at that right there. Linux. So this is really cool. It shows me all the hosts that were on the subnet that I scanned. You can also see up here up top, like that's how I put in the target, and that was the command I used. All right. So, and this was not necessarily a security research scan. This was just a scan. I mean, yeah, I want to know the services and possibly any vulnerabilities, but I mostly wanted to build a network map for the different devices that were on this network. All right. So right here, I've got the Nmap output. I can also, and this is like the regular Nmap output that we would see, from doing it in the command line. And I can scroll down. I can see what that Nmap output looks like. I can look at the port and hosts. Excuse me. Come on. There we go. So like I said, here's the port based on this host. Those are the ports that were open, the protocol, the state, the services, right? And the version. I can click on host details. Boom, look at that. You can see when the scan was performed. can find out the MAC address, the operating system version. I can open this up, the ports that were used, OS classes, right? There's a lot of information here that you can, TCP sequence, difficulty, good luck. There's a lot of, no comments, that's great. There's a lot of different things that you can do in Zenmap that are just super, this GUI makes it super convenient to be able to document, do research. It's pretty nice. You can look at the scan, right? And then you can look at the topology. Now this is really neat. So this is what I like. This shows the topology of the entire network that I just scanned. And this is what's really important to me. So, oh my fucking God, I have to scroll in a million times. Oh my God. I'm not going to edit this. You all have to sit here and watch me scroll in to zoom in. This is what you get for watching this video. There's got to be a better way to do this. Hold on, there's got to be a better way to do this. No. There we go. There we go. Okay, here we go. So if I click on controls, it pops up the controls over here. That is great, but I did fisheye. Okay, so there are these, so if you pull up the legend, you'll actually be able to see, so Zenmap actually adds these, icons depending on what it finds. So if you have a host with some ports, geez, well, guess what? It's going to be added right there. Oh, did you see that? Look at that. Oh, check that out. So this right here shows you that it is a wireless access point. So this specific guy is a wireless access point. But you see how the map kind of changed as we were clicking on things? So right here, we've got the IP address for this wireless access point. Let's say we want to look at this wireless access point. So it's .117. All right. Here we go, .117. SSH. Okay, it's running Linux. Right, we have a lot of information about this wireless access point. Interesting. So this is, this is one of the beautiful things about Zenmap, and there's a lot more I can go into detail here, but basically, the more information we have, the better. Whether it's security research, whether it's acting as a security engineer to put together like network security. Or even if it's just trying to put together a network map, this is really, really important. This is, Zenmap is great. I just wanted to show you kind of what Zenmap is, how to use it. And this was all done on a Windows machine. I didn't have to do this in the command line. I didn't have to, virtualize a Linux-based machine like Kali or Ubuntu or anything like that. This is all on a Windows machine to be able to give you information on the target hosts, the services that are running on it, how to be able to use custom scripts, things like that. Zenmap is actually a really, really powerful GUI tool. So that's what you get. Be happy.